Yeah, Coach, could you discuss the third down situation? Jake said y'all talked about it as a group today. And
Yeah, I think, with third downs and really every play in the football game, each play is its own entity. You go back, you watch them, you try to figure out the solves for it. I think the biggest thing is just executing at the right time, everybody doing their job the way that we're supposed to do it, and that starts with us as coaches providing the clarity that we can for those guys. But, there was no real rhyme or reason behind it. It's just kind of each play is its own. So we're definitely working to correct those, knowing that those are some critical situations, especially third downs in the red zone, being able to convert and score points like the other night. We got to be able to do that. So definitely some good reflection throughout the week, and we got third downs tomorrow, so it'll be good to get those reps and get it going.
It's a simple matter of keeping what worked. You had Mooney had a couple, Drake had a couple, and Ray, and one more I'm not recalling. But one was a touchdown, but then staying out of manageable.
That's probably been the biggest thing when you look at the plays that are getting called throughout the game. We're in a lot of 7, 10, 8, 9, 10 yards, which is, those are going to be harder to convert. So that's where the efficiency on offense, especially on first down, being able to stay ahead of the sticks, getting third and manageable when we need those situations. That's the biggest thing with it. Staying out of 3rd and 11, 12. We've had way too many of those throughout the first 3 weeks.
How do you, teach making sure that doesn't happen? Is that just practice? I mean, you try to do drills and...
Yeah, Thursdays are the third down day, so you try to get as many, reps of third down that day. You kind of go first down, second down, and you might have 2 third downs back-to-back to emphasize the third down day. But it's repetition. It's guys, feeling the space on the field, understanding exactly where the QB thinks you're going to be, running the right route, the right depth, all those things that go into execution on offense. I think those are the things that we got to definitely clean up.
I know we talk a lot about Kirk's connection with his receivers, Kirk's connection with Bijan, but the relationship that I think a lot of people overlook is Kirk's relationship with Drew Dahlman. Not having him, he's on IR for the next few weeks, potentially longer. What can you kind of tell us about, from your perspective, having had that type of relationship yourself as well? What is it about that relationship that needs to be established fairly quickly?
Sure.
That you don't necessarily think of right off the top of that?
Sure. I think, first of all, Neuzil's done a great job. He's been here, as you guys know, and Coach Ledford all throughout OTAs, camp, he does a great job of mixing him in there with Kirk. So it's not like they're getting, a feel for each other for the first time. Or some of the gun snaps maybe a little bit different, underneath the center a little bit different. All those things that you just have a comfort with your starting center naturally. But I think these guys will be accelerated. Both are, so attentive to what they're doing, and they were working on stuff, after practice and snaps and everything. So, it's not like we've got a brand new guy coming in. Neuzil's got great experience in the system with the calls. Thought he did a great job the other night stepping in on short notice, him and Storm. So they got to quickly build, the relationship, but they've already got a pretty good foundation. Now it's just kind of taking it to that next level.
Look at some of the drives you guys have had. Some of them have been very good, very smooth, very efficient. In the last one against Philly, the first one on Sunday night against the Chiefs. How do you kind of extrapolate from that and kind of make that more consistent across the board? Because sometimes it looks good, and sometimes,
Sure. No, 100%. That's what we're trying to be as consistent as we can at all times. And like I said, each drive is kind of its own entity, and just making sure that we're connected all as one. I thought that Philadelphia game, like you mentioned, you could just feel all 11 connected the entire time. And that comes from us as coaches bleeding into these guys. So we certainly have our hand in a lot of responsibility with that. So, we're continuing to build chemistry as an offense as well. These guys are getting a feel for each other. We've had a ton of reps banked in the off season and training camp, but the games are, naturally just a little bit different. So feeling what guys' game day demeanor's like, all those different things that go into it, I think these guys will just continue to get more comfortable with each other and continue to build on that execution that we're looking for.
When it comes to complementary football, how do you kind of balance the relationship between time of possession and getting the defense a little bit of a break and then explosive plays and
Yeah, I think we're always going to try to be as efficient as we can and explosive as well. And a lot of that is going to come down to the third down execution, but also, like we mentioned, just staying ahead of the chains to where we can convert those. So everything in football goes hand in hand. there's outlier games, that happen to where maybe you don't win the time of possession, but you score a bunch of points. And, that's where football is just such an imperfect game. And you're always trying to look for those reasons why. And we'll just continue to just focus on what we can do as an offense to be more efficient, and those explosives will definitely come.
Across the league, passing seems to be down over the first 3 weeks, and rushing is up. You think that's something to that? Is that a trend, or is that just?
I haven't looked at it that closely. We kind of just get in our own little box, watch around the league. What other teams that you like to look for ideas and those things, but haven't looked at many of those things statistically, so wouldn't be able to answer that fairly. But I know a lot of teams, you can be efficient by, running the football first and foremost with all the too high shells that you see. So I haven't looked at it that closely, though.
It's like historically, poor quarterback play over the first 3 weeks.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, it's got to get better. We need to score more points. It's not fun when we don't score points.
Is there any difference, getting the ball snapped from a lefty center versus?
I had a lefty center in college, was with him for 5 years, so it just became natural. But at first it feels a little different, like it's coming in backwards, almost like a lefty spin, throwing the football. So I think after you get that initial kind of feel for it, it's really nothing. But definitely at first it is a little bit different.
What have you seen from Bijan and his development as a pass blocker?
It's been outstanding, and Mike Petrie does a great job with those guys, and the toughness in that room, whether it's Bijan or Tyler Algier, those guys have that at all times. We know how special they are as runners, but Bijan has really stepped up to the plate and given us extra little click that Kirk needs in the pocket whenever we do get those pressure situations. So, you throw on last year's tape, and seeing the progress that he's made has been really cool. And he's such a team guy. He just wants to do whatever he can for the team in those situations.
How much have you guys looked at that 4th and 1 play at the end of the game? I mean, because Coach Raheem said basically it came down to just not blocking Bolton.
Yeah, that was it. We'll keep the kind of schematics and everything in-house on it. We felt collectively good about that play in that situation, and then unfortunately just didn't go our way.
When it comes to finding that consistency, it seems like those scripted plays, the 2-minute offense, those are where you kind of, the team as itself, it kind of finds is gelling, it seems. What's the next step? Is it just getting that familiarity? Is it communication? What is that next step?
Yeah, I think it's everything. It starts with me and the flow of the play calls and all those things that go into that. That we have our hand in as coaches, and then it's just executing the plays that we should execute. That's what we've talked about from the jump, is really kind of our energy that we play with, the edge we play with, and then the execution. And so those things all go hand in hand together. When you have all three of them going the right way, then you can definitely have some success. So we'll always focus on, the plays are the plays. Obviously, there's going to be some schemed up things that we have, but then the staple plays that we do have, we got to execute, and we got to be on the screws and all the details at all times.
And obviously, you're looking at just this game, but that's a start of the division and everything, how close it is. Just how are you evaluating that and overall within the next few weeks?
Yeah, obviously we're excited to get into some divisional play here. Had some really tough opponents those first 3 weeks. Those are really good football teams. Tested us in a lot of ways, whether it was the first game, second game on the road, and then this past game against a really good team. So those have set us up to where we are right now. And, this is my first time being, going against these guys within the division. We've played them when I was in LA, but it's definitely a different feel with that division rival. Totally understand that. So I know these guys are chomping at the bit to get ready to go against a really good team.
Going back to Bijan and pass pro for a second, that explosive to Kyle Pitts, I know it's not just Bijan, but when you look at the film, how much does that play just not happen if he doesn't make that one?
No, it's huge. It's the pass protection, the route detail, all those things. Kirk clicking from 1 to 2 to 3 to be able to see that. Kirk is such a great progression passer, like we've talked about, really since the offseason. So if he gets that extra click, we know he's going to find the open guy. That's where that pass pro with all 5 offensive linemen and Bijan is so critical, because when he gets that extra click, we've seen what it can look like.
Speaking of Kyle, through 3 games, he only has 11 targets so far, which is 4th on the team. Is that a concern for you, or do you just see that as a natural consequence of just the way the game is?
Yeah, I think, it's hard to say. You know, coverage can dictate so many different things of where the football goes. Of course, you're wanting to get the ball in his hands. I thought that was a huge play the other night that obviously got us going when he caught that and got down to the one there before we scored. So he'll continue to get the ball in the flow of the offense as it goes. I know there were some opportunities, obviously, where he could have had more the other night too. So he's doing a great job. He played really fast the other night. I think the more that he can be detail-oriented, play as fast as he did, the ball's naturally just going to find him.
You talk about Kirk being a progression passer and being good at it and everything. It's not like he needs to be comfortable as a quarterback. He's already comfortable. But when it comes to him being comfortable with his receivers, how have you seen that progress in these first couple of years?
Yeah, I think you're continuing to build that. You know, there's certainly times where you see it, whether that's in training camp, OTAs, and you see him and Drake connect on a deep ball, and then the other night it's that close. So you know the next time those guys get that opportunity, you're banking on them winning that rep. So they're continuing to gel. They're working out, you know, practice after practice, working on routes, and continue to build that rapport. But nothing, you know, everything's about those game reps together, and so I think they'll just continue to grow.
Bijan, it's the second week in a row that nobody can stop talking about your pass blocking. I know that, you know, usually we're talking about your, you know, abilities as a ball carrier or as a receiver out of the backfield, but I know that's something that you worked on with Coach Choice at Texas,
Yep.
But you've really improved year to year in that area. How do you approach that, and what's your transition been like from Texas to now being talked about your blocking every week?
Yeah, you know, obviously it's a big thing for, you know, a running back to be able to pass protect. And, you know, with me, like with Coach Choice, you know, he's always very, just back at Texas, like that's the first thing he always talked about. Like you got to make sure that this is locked down before you can just like let the gifts go, show with your running and your catching ability and everything like that. But he was saying like this is what's going to take you, you know, to the next level. And, you know, I took that to heart. Obviously at Texas, like I've had some great games where I did good in pass block, and then I've had some bad games. But then even here, like Coach Petrie, just teaching me just more fundamentals, and, you know, me learning how to just put my head down and, you know, match the intensity, match the pressure that's coming. That's what's really helped me out a lot. But yeah, I take a lot of pride in it. Obviously, like, you know, I've been doing it. It's been seen these past couple weeks, but, you know, that's something that we've been working on here for this whole off season, and obviously it's been going pretty good.
What do you feel like the disconnect's been being able to complete third downs, which has been kind of a struggle for you guys lately?
Yeah, obviously we can't get ourselves in like third and longs. We got to stop doing that, and, you know, we got to do whatever we can to, you know, minimize, you know, the 3rd and 7 pluses, and just make it more, if we do go to third down, like 3rd and 2s, 3rd and 3s, because obviously when we get ourselves into backed up situations when it comes to third down, it's been hard, and it's been harder for us to execute. And obviously that shouldn't be an excuse, because we should execute no matter where we are in the field. But, you know, in the NFL, like, you try to eliminate those 3rd and long situations. But, you know, with us, obviously it starts with 1st and 2nd down. Like, we want to make sure that, you know, we're getting positive yards on 1st and 2nd down before anything. And then if we do get in the 3rd down, like, not making it a long situation. But obviously that's with execution and what we got to do on those first 2 downs.
Have you rewatched that 4th and 1 play at the end of that game, and just kind of your thoughts after watching it back?
Yeah, I watched it quite a bit. Obviously, like, I'm disappointed because I don't care what happened in the play. Like, it's on me, and I'll always put, you know, those kind of situations on me. Like, I don't care if he came free or whatever. Like, I got to find a way to make him miss, or I got to find a way to get the first down. But yeah, it was definitely a tough one, because 2 weeks prior, like, it was kind of the same situation where, you know, the safety came and he came free, and he stopped me on 4th and 1. So, you know, I don't want to make that an issue. Obviously, I want to get those and, you know, put those in, you know, me or Tyler, our hands. And, you know, for me, like, just watching that play, you know, it's just something that motivates me, and that I don't want to happen again.
You don't put it on yourself, though, all right? Because, I mean, if someone, like Coach said, block Bolton, it would be a different play. I mean, kind of, you know, do you?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely, like, if he's blocked like that, there was actually nobody left. Like, that could have been a touchdown. But, like, it didn't. I can't really go back and. So it didn't happen, but yeah, obviously if the situations were a little different, then the outcome would be different. But what happened, and just got to move on from it.
Talking about the kind of like first and second down and needing to really kind of start on the right side there, how do you balance that and the efficiency with also remaining explosive, right? Because you still want to go for those explosive plays, but if you attempt a deep shot on first down, all of a sudden it's 2nd and 10, and you're not getting that kind of fast start that you want. So is that part of the discussion and the calculus that you guys are trying to figure out?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's just that complimentary ball. Like, we got to be very good in the run game so we can, get the defense on their toes and then, attack them with something that we have up our sleeve. But obviously I think with our identity, like, it starts with just being more physical than the guys on the other side, and making sure that run game is spot on, because that's what we pride ourselves with, and then we'll unlock the playbook when we start going how we want to go on the run game. But I think that's where we need to start. Obviously that was a challenge last game, and the Chiefs did hats off to them. They did a really good job, a great job, and it was just kind of tough to get off of it and to get off of what they were trying to do. But we know what we're supposed to do, and that's where it needs to start. And then we can start, going for more explosive plays. But we need to be explosive on, the run game and the pass game, and make sure we're doing it at a high level.
Is that a real tangible thing that you guys can feel on the field when you get that defense kind of playing on their toes, and you're like, we've got them falling for this, and we can kind of get them with it? Like, can you feel that? Yeah,
you can. Obviously, it's the momentum that you're bringing. Throughout the game, and we have to start immediately. Like, as soon as we hit the field, we need to make our presence felt right away. We did that with the Eagles game, and we just kept on going. But that needs to be how we play every single game. And obviously, like, there's some bad plays that happen, but we can't let that get in our creep in our mind on what we're trying to do. But yeah, that's what we got to do to continue to execute those kind of plays that we want.
How much do you feel like you're a couple of short yardage plays away or a 3rd down conversion away from really clicking on offense? Yeah,
I mean, it's just you saying that, like, just hearing that, it's tough to hear that, because, like, those are the kind of plays that you're supposed to get. But then if they don't happen, then it's like, all right, well, what do we got to do? What do we got to go back and fix? But yeah, even this past game, like, that 4th and 1 would have changed everything, if we got it. But for me, like I said, it's on me, because I always put everything on me. Just because, like, I don't blame nobody, because it already happened. But yeah, if we just, like, continue to practice those kind of plays and those kind of situations, then I know we'll be ready for the next one if it ever comes up again.
Let's talk about something positive for a second. Something you're really good at is pass pro. How much do you pride yourself in pass pro as running back?
A lot. I do. It's like a big thing that we work on every single day, and Coach Petrie always makes sure that that's the first thing that we, work on in individual. But for me, like, he makes it fun, and he always makes it like it's not not trying to be a job, but like, you should want to do this just to compete with somebody and go head to head with the linebacker or D lineman. It don't matter who's coming. But yeah, it's something that I've really started to have fun with, and just doing more than just run the ball and catching the football, doing all, but actually pass pro and having fun with it, and just protecting, like, the quarterback is always a great thing.
And then last question for me, kind of obscure. I know that trash talking is part of the game on the field. Do you notice that defenders are starting to get after you a little bit more and talk a little bit more trash to you in your second year?
If they do, then I don't really hear it. I mean, I'm not a big trash talk. I don't trash talk at all, actually. Like, I don't say a word on the field.
I'm just wondering if people do it to you.
Yeah, so actually somebody did this past game, and they were trying to, like, talk trash. Like, they're like, yeah, B, like, we here, and I looked at him, I smiled, and I just kept walking. And after the game, he was like, bro, like, you don't say a word, don't you? And I was like, yeah, I don't. And he was like, he never seen that before. And I think not talking is talking trash at the same time too. So yeah, that's how it is.
Speaking of blocking, on the Ray McLeod toss sweep, looked like he took out a couple guys on that one, kind of bunch of lead blocking.
Yep. Even when Ray was coming, I knew I had to just clean up anything that was coming off the edge, and I mean it just worked out perfect. Like Ray came, right on my outside, and those two guys came, and I had to chip through one of them, and then I was trying to go find the third guy, but I tripped and fell. But those kind of plays right there are what obviously creates those explosives. But it obviously starts with us leading the block and creating that open space for him to get where he wants to go, and obviously that's in the end zone.
How much is it? We know it affects, obviously, Kirk when you have a new center and then a new tackle in there, but how much does it affect you, even just in the run game, when you have two new guys on the O-line?
Obviously, throughout the game, they haven't played a snap throughout the game, so they have to get their feet wet a little bit. So obviously, them just getting used to the speed and getting used to those kind of blocks. They gotta just kind of hone in. But I think that Neuz and Storm did a great job, throughout the game. But it's really this week in practices where they start to, get right and start to feel comfortable. Especially for this week, but it shouldn't make a difference. And those guys are really good, guys to be out there too.
Your second year here now, do you kind of really understand and feel that Saints-Falcons rivalry and just how important it is?
I do. And last year, obviously, winning one and losing one, we want to continue to, come into that game knowing it's the rivalry, and for me, I played in a rivalry in college too, so I know the extent of it, and I pride those games truly just because the energy is always the highest, and both teams are coming to really get a win, especially in the division. So that's gonna be a fun game. I really can't wait to play that game.
Bijan, are there any differences in the visual cues that you guys are looking for on inside runs versus outside runs, kind of stretch runs versus in the tackle stuff?
Not really visual, just we're trying to just see the kind of gaps that they're giving us, and we obviously want to implement everything in our run game, but when we're more of a wide zone team, but we have everything else in the arsenal, but it's more so how linebackers are flowing, and how deep into linemen, how far they're coming up the field, and those all play into the keys on what we're trying to read, and but that starts with us being more physical just up front, because when we do that, it doesn't matter what we call, it should work. But it's more just the mindset and the tone setting right when we go out there.
The Saints teams, their offense has really made a lot of the headlines over these first 3 weeks. They've been really explosive. But what do they bring to the table defensively that you guys are kind of keen on?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they've been playing really good, just team ball. A lot. Number one on their team, their nickel, he's been a force for them. Obviously, they got just really good players. The D-line is starting to click together, and they got great linebackers. But for us, it's just maintaining their pressure looks, and making sure that we're speed off the ball every single snap, every single play. And I believe when we do that, we're obviously a really hard offense to stop. Run or pass game, it doesn't matter. But they know how to just run to the football, and they're always attacking the ball, and they always want to just make a big play. But now it's just us just doing what we do and just making sure that they try to match our energy when we go out there.
How are you able to find so much success in those stretch plays? You guys do them very well.
It's because we work on it every day in practice, but we work on it like religiously in practice. We have our own period that we do that, and that's what we take pride in. And obviously we do more than just the stretch plays, but that's kind of where our offense leads, and then from those plays, and we get to create more plays. But yeah, we have we do what we do in our own periods, just to try to make it as perfect as it can be.
Speaking of the 2 games that you played against them last year, obviously some controversy in the way that the last one ended.
Oh yeah.
Has there been any kind of talk amongst the players, or is that kind of still in your mind at all?
No, not at all. I haven't heard any of it. Obviously, what happened, but yeah, we haven't even been really speaking on it in the locker room.
Is it
business as usual this week, or is there a little bit more sense of urgency to get a home win? And it's you're in the division. You got.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of urgency. Obviously, every game matters now to this point, especially because we have 3 weeks, a 3-week stretch of division games that we have to win, like must win. But I think obviously this is a division game, so the energy is already high. But then the rivalry game at that, like, it's even higher. And we want to just secure that just here at home, and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do to stay on track with the record throughout the season. But the intensity is definitely high this week.
Bijan, there's obviously a lot of talk kind of connecting you and Christian McCaffrey this offseason training camp, but Alvin Kamara, also a great back.
Absolutely.
Class. Like, is he anybody that you have historically looked at or watched, and what's your opinion of him?
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy that I've always watched, and just definitely admired his game, and even just speaking to him after games and even before games, just us showing that respect for each other, like, is always super cool. But yeah, I try to watch all the things that he's done up to this point, and even throughout this season, like, I've been watching this film, and I've been watching like some of the explosives that he created, the run and pass game. But yeah, I have a lot of respect for him, and he's obviously one of the running backs that who's done it right throughout his whole career.
Looking at the Saints offense, it looks like they've done a really good job of continuing to be efficient while also being explosive. What are the challenges of playing an offense that can kind of do both?
Yeah, I think the first thing is stopping the run down, first down. We've been in a lot of, third and short type of downs, second and 4 or 5. So I think the first down, we got to dominate the run down. And then, like you said, with the team being this explosive, it don't matter what you do. If you can hit the explosive passes like they've been hitting, it don't matter if you run the ball well or not. So I just think that's a huge part of our game plan, is stopping the first down run, because that opens up, that makes you play all these, the boot. It makes you play, the shots. Try to make them one-dimensional just like every week. It'll help us out for sure.
You guys have played the toughest schedule in the NFL so far. The only loss by any of your opponents came from you guys in Philadelphia. Do you feel like you're battle-tested and that's helped you to this point in kind of understanding who you are?
Yeah, I would say we played in some big games so far against some really good teams that, there's not a lot of new stuff going on their team with the Chiefs and the, Eagles. But, that's what you want to have before you go into, a divisional type of game. You want to figure out what your identity is as a team, as a defense, and figure out what you're good at, what you're not good at, and fix those problems. So, I think we're battle tested, and being prime time games, I feel like that's a big deal as well. So I feel like we've handled our schedule so far pretty good. None of that stuff matters. All that matters is where we're going. So excited for this week's challenge.
Coach talked a little bit about an emphasis on complementary football, defense getting off the field a little sooner, offense staying on a little longer. Can you just talk about the mindset of complementary football?
Yeah, it's just really feeding off of each other. And it's not just offense and defense. Special teams plays a huge part in that, of understanding when we have field position, keeping field position, and being able to take advantage of that in that instance. But, we just got to – we're continue to learn, and every week you'll continue to elevate. You'll see this team elevate and understanding when we have the momentum and when is it time to go. Sometimes you can't control that. Sometimes as a defense, you just keep on going out there and keep on giving Kirk and our offense the opportunity to go put points on the board. So, complementary football is a huge conversation. Obviously, it's not easy to do, but I think like I said, as the season continues to go and we figure out ourselves and our identity as a team, it'll be pretty easier to do so.
When you look at the Saints and you're getting ready, and Kamara and Carr and just their weapons, just what problems do they present?
Yeah, Alvin, he can hurt you, obviously, in the run game, and also, when he catches the ball outside, on the checkdowns, and they do a lot of keepers as well that, keeps you honest on your run fits. and then you got the play action pass. You got the 2 fast guys on the outside with Olave and Shaheed as well. And those guys are real dudes. Like, I think Tyreek is like number 1 with the most explosive plays, and then there's Shaheed right there, and then you got Olave, who, you know, every year it just seems that he gets better. So, yeah, I mean, it's top to bottom. I think our D-line will have a big impact in this game for sure.
Jesse, you mentioned Rashid Shaheed. You're right, I think he's 2nd in the league in like yards per catch.
Yeah.
It's crazy. 59-yard touchdown, 70-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost thinking of him like a boxer who has their like haymaker cocks a little bit.
Yeah.
Kind of jabbing, and then so how on every play do you have to have a plan in place for a player like that who really all it takes is one play?
Yeah, I think every play you have to identify where he is, because that's what he does. You know, you got to kind of, when you're digesting the offense, you got to kind of put guys in boxes like, hey, this is the deep ball guy. This is a, you know, more of the short and the intermediate type of guy, and Shaheed is the deep ball guy. So anytime that you're lined up on his side, or even every time that he's in the game, you have to be alert, depending on obviously what coverages you're in. But just digesting the offense and seeing what they're trying to do, you always got to know where 22 is, because he's the guy that's, like you said, in a heartbeat can change a game.
I know we probably look at stats more than you guys do, but when you look at the per play metrics for you all as a defense versus the kind of total game metrics, per play you guys are top 10. Total numbers, you know, they're a little further down. Is that indicative of kind of what we're seeing with the time of possession and you guys maybe needing to get off of the field and balancing that stuff out a little bit?
Yeah, I think this last game we had probably a couple 15-plus play drives where I don't think we were that good on 3rd down last game. I think they converted. That goes back to getting these guys out of 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1, making it longer, third and longer distances. But I think we've done a really good job of responding in the red zone, of keeping guys out and forcing guys to kick field goals and keeping us in the game as well. So, yeah, there's a balance of that. You want to be top 10, top 5 and everything, but those stats will come as long as we continue to do our job and continue to get turnovers and play good defense.
All right, so you've been here a year. You played 2 games against the Saints. What have you learned about that rivalry?
Yeah.
Being a Falcon now.
Yeah, you know, it's a big deal. If you can't get hype, I feel like this is another primetime game. You know, going against, you know, a rival that, you know, means so much in this city, over there in that city as well. The hype that, you know, I saw last year, you know, I know last year I think we played them last game of the season at their place, but I think our place was a little bit more rocking, and just the excitement around it, around the city. You talk to fans and they call them the Aints, and it's just funny to see. And it's something that we got to embrace in this locker room as well. Like I said, get our first win at home against the Saints. No better way to do it. So excited for that opportunity.
And Kurt said he was looking forward to working with you in this type of setting. What's he been like to work with so far this weekend?
Oh, Kirk's been really great. I mean, just very detailed, going over the small things, just making sure, once again, it's just smooth.
Is this week of prep any easier for you just because it's a division opponent? You've seen these guys so many times on film. Does that make it a little smoother?
Yeah, it's definitely guys we know up front. We know what they're going to try to do, try to limit. And it definitely makes it a little easier, but it's still going to be a lot of prep.
Right.
Anything left over from last year when they ran and pushed that in, score in there late?
No. It's a new team, new year.
Working with Chris up front and Matt, what's that like? Those you guys kind of got to be in unison, keep that interior together.
Yeah, it's really good just being next to, 2 great guys, 2 great players. Definitely makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. 3rd down, has there been any theme on 3rd down that y'all can track? Or?
No real theme on 3rd down. Just got to keep it 3rd and manageable, if any, and make sure we convert them.
How hard is it to kind of just like build chemistry on the offensive line when you were, not necessarily starting with them, but now you will be?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of banked reps. definitely going to get more during this week, but still been with these guys for a little while now, so still have some good chemistry.
What are some things this week that you feel like you need to work on to be ready to play on Sunday?
Just operation, everything like pre-snap, just making sure everything's smooth.
Can you talk to like Caleb or Drew Dahlman or anything right now just to kind of get advice and tips from them?
Oh yeah, Drew's always around too, so he's definitely in my ear helping me a lot.
Ryan, whenever it was determined that you were going to start, how fast is Kirk talking to you? Like, hey, let's get on the same page, let's figure this thing out.
Yeah, he's definitely somebody that just wants to kind of just limit everything to making sure it's just smooth operation, so what you focus on is really just ball. You don't have to worry about the small things.
And for you as a center, how important is it for you to have that early communication with your quarterback as well?
Yeah, it's definitely really good. I mean, once again, just being able just to be smooth and operate well and high and efficiently, it's good.
Did you get any voice messages from him?
No voice messages, no. We were just here Monday.
Are you a lefty?
I am a lefty.
So does it change when you have to snap it or give it to the Kirk? Like, do you have to work a little bit harder?
For me, it's the same.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I guess maybe the ball comes back a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit different for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Could you tell the people?
Thanks.
All right. Could you tell the people that not real, maybe don't know exactly what the center does? You got shotgun snaps, you got pistol snaps, you got regular snaps, you got to get the linebacker. Tell people all the things that the center has to do.
Yeah, I mean, most importantly, get the snap, but really just set the table.
Type
Yeah,
of snaps.
yeah, different type of snaps, but just set the table for everyone. Make sure we're on the same page, who we're going to, how we're getting there, and just keep everybody just moving.
Are you doing the calls, or he's helping with the calls, or y'all collaborating? Or?
Yeah, a little bit of a collaboration of everyone on the line. Yeah, I'll try to set the table, but I mean, guards can definitely give their input. And, yeah.
Okay.
One thing for you, because you played left guard in college, right, when you were at App State.
Yep.
So when you were playing left guard, how beneficial is that now moving over to center? You're talking about how the guards can determine coverages as well. How much of that?
Yeah, I mean, it's good just getting a feel of basically everywhere on the O-line. So just knowing from guard to center, just past experiences definitely help.
When you're kind of thrown in there in the middle of the game, what do you think you've learned in that experience?
I mean, you just got to always stay ready. I feel like O-line backups, you don't really get in unless something happens for the most part. So just always staying ready, staying dialed with the game plan. You never know when it's your turn.
How did you do that, stay ready?
I mean, just you got to attack every week like you're going to be playing at some point. So just making sure that you're on top of it, on the game plan, scouting, everything.
What would be the keys to get the running games going? Y'all went for 150, got the win, and been under 90 in the other two.
Just staying good with the operation. It's got to start with me up front, just getting everybody on the same page and just making sure we're working smoothly.
You seem like a kind of soft-spoken guy. Are you louder, obviously, out on the field? Like when your voice, are you more of a, hey, do you work on your voice in communication?
Definitely have to. I mean, it's a lot of fans out there, so definitely have to raise the voice a little bit and get everybody so they can hear me.
How are you preparing for the week? Coach is kind of saying you might be, they got to get you ready either way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that kind of after the game, every week you kind of go in preparing like you're going to play, having that role as that swing tackle, you could go in the second play of the game. So, I mean, I've kind of learned that in the last 4 or 5 years of my career is, always be ready for that moment.
Okay. I don't know, is it kind of nice when you have both you and Neuzil both going in kind of at the same time, like, all right, guys, we're going to bond together and make sure we can help make this thing go in the O-line, or, like, is it more challenging because 2 new guys came at the same time?
I mean, even during the week in practice, we're always kind of rotating guys, for when times like this kind of pop up. We got a pretty close group, so whenever a new guy kind of pops in, and we kind of like try not to skip a beat.
You guys have had offensive line depth for a minute now. How critical is it now that it's coming up and you've got to come in and Ryan has to go in? How much is it proving that it is really critical to have offensive line depth?
Oh yeah, you said it. It's very critical in this league. I mean, I've been in positions where guys kind of get there the same week and they're called into action. So it's been kind of nice kind of being with the same group the last couple of years, and like I said, it helps kind of to play as one as a group.
How quick is Kirk to make sure that you guys are all on the same page, especially when there's some offensive linemen rotating in and out?
Yeah, I mean, he's awesome. I mean, very concise and to the point in the huddle. I mean, we had great coaches in there. We're all getting the game plan through the week, so kind of know what's going on going into it. So he just doesn't change this week.
You talk about being like very close as an O-line. So how does Coach Ledford like play a role into that, and how do you guys do that? Is it makes it on, off the field?
Yeah, I mean, even you know, times like the off season, you know, getting together and having cookouts and stuff like that kind of goes a long way. And he's kind of set that standard in our room. There's an expectation that we carry, and it doesn't matter who's in there, and we got to go in there and live up to it.